Right. Did you do that on purpose or on accident? You're alright, you almost did it, you didn't actually? I definitely set my grill on fire. You know Zed Coke? You out riding with him at that track or what? Let me know over here. It's like mark you present. Yeah, I set my deck on fire. I disposed of the coals after I made a bunch of paella, which was delicious. And I disposed of them like 3 hours after the grill was like off and hadn't had any air to go into it. And I moved the coals to a bucket by hand because they were that cold. They weren't hot. Moved them to a bucket, right? Plastic bucket. I dumped water on them. There was water in the bucket before I'd even put the coals in. In fact, there was even dirt at the bottom of the bucket because I used to put like plants in it. 3 hours later, there's a fire! Go get the fire extinguisher. Second time I've used it in the 2 months I've been there, in my new apartment. First time was the stove caught on fire. No fault of my own. Turns out the stove's older than I am. And the apartment was never cleaned. I paid $238 to move in early. And now I know it wasn't clean. I walk upstairs in the middle of the living room, there's a chicken wing sitting on the ground. Look in the dishwasher, there's like dishes in it. What? What? And there's like paper towels, I think. Maybe it was a diaper, I don't know, in the bottom of it. Like clogging it. So I cleaned it and I'm like, But it turns out the oven caught on fire because it's older than I am. What's up, Evan? I'll mark you here. And there's grease down the back of it. Now, a dumber man than I, and there are not many, but there are some, a dumber man than I might have tried to put out that fire with, water. And that would have been a disaster. You don't put out a grease fire with water. It spreads the grease, spreads the fire, right? Yeah. You do not... Whenever there's a stove fire, ask yourself, is the oil on fire? And if it is, you don't want to use water. You want to smother it. You want to cut off all oxygen. So, like, take a pan lid and cover it. And then it'll kill itself out because it won't have any oxygen to breathe, right? No Haley today? But I put it out and use a fire extinguisher. I am constantly in a current battle to get a new oven for me and my neighbors. Because I don't want their ovens catching on fire because they're 30 plus years old. They usually go by 15. I don't want them with little kids or not being smart enough to put out the fire the correct way. All that stuff, right? It's just not right. Just not right. I'm paying tons of money to live in this place. Lord knows I'm paying too much. Can't even afford a place that doesn't flood in the basement and catch the oven on fire. So anyway, this time it was my fault. I put the coals in, I doused them with water, I covered them with dirt, did everything you're supposed to do in the Boy Scouts. And you know what? Crap happens sometimes, I guess. So now I've got a bucket that's melted to the bottom of my deck. That was fun. But that was my Labor Day weekend. What'd you do, Sebastian? What's in Wisconsin? Devil's Lake. Yeah, Devil's Lake's awesome. I go hiking there all the time, actually. Backpacking and all that. Go kayaking or anything, or just the hiking? Oh, sure. Yeah. That's rad. You like going outside doing stuff like that? Sick, man. But you! It's softball. You a better ball player than your brother? Good. This is true. You pitch? Yeah, that's right. Customization. Got a melted pot in it. So you pitch, what else do you do? What? Oh, shortstop. That's supposed to be the best athlete on the team. Wow. Okay. I was almost your brother's baseball coach last year, and then March happened. You would have been sitting on the bench the whole time. Don't have a helmet. You gotta wear a helmet when you go up to the plate, right? And everybody's got a bat. You don't make helmets big enough for those ears. It's a safety concern. Hi, Leah. Mac, where you at? Haley, are you online? Those are two I'm waiting on. By waiting on, that's, not waiting, really. Announcements. So if you met with me about your portfolio last week, great, excellent job. Most of you did a really good job. I had comments for you guys. We had a good dialogue back and forth. I thought that was pretty successful. Next time we'll be meeting is next Wednesday. What I'll do is I'll have a sign-up sheet, and you can sign up for whatever time you want to meet with me on Wednesday, because we won't be here, right? If it's like, well, I don't have any time to meet. I have class, you know, teachers are making me stay the whole time. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, well, you'll have this time, right? Sign up during this time. But if you're like me and don't want to wake up until noon, you don't have to. Sign up for a time after noon. You can, okay? But that's when we'll meet next Wednesday, portfolio stuff, okay? If you didn't meet with me, and you know who you are, we're going to try and meet Thursday or Friday, depending on which day you're here in person, and get that done at the end of class. We may or may not have time. I don't know. I gave you time last week, and for whatever reason, we didn't get to you, right? I can't promise you that time again. Why it's important to be ready on Wednesdays when we do this stuff, or whenever it is in the future. So for people that didn't meet with me, I'll meet with you Thursday if you're an 8A person, Friday if you're a BD person at the end of class. If we don't have time to do that because we just don't have class time, you'll have to meet with me outside of class online, or come into the classroom before 3 o'clock. And it has to be done before the end of next week, okay? I'll be putting in grades hopefully today, fingers crossed. Since Algebra usually gets the short end of the stick because I only have one of your classes and it's the last class in my schedule, I usually put you guys off last. Might be tomorrow or the next day. Okay, great. They'll be in, okay, with comments for your parents. Cool? All right, so what do I want to do today? Well, I want to play around with some numbers. Play around with some numbers. So normally I'd write on the board, but I'm going to write here so everybody home can see it. I'm trying to get a $400 camera that'll follow me around the room. How dope would that be? Now automatically zooms in if you like hit a button and preset it. Like if I hit a button, it'll be like, oh, go over there and look at the board and zoom in. It would be dope. So anyway, but in the meantime, I got that little thing. It's not even plugged in yet. So I want to talk about addition. I want to talk about addition. Oh no. Okay. All right, Mom, I get to tell Mom and Dad that we learned 7 plus 7 equals 14 today. Last time I tell them it equaled 2, they're like, this boy needs to be fired! That darn ain't right. I reckon it's at least 10. And it is, isn't it? How do you know it's 14? How many ways can you prove it's 14? I bet. Count on your fingers, right? 7, and then you take 7 more. 8, 9, 10. Oh! Need 4 more. 11, 12, 13, 14. But you need to know you have 4 more, right? Because you get stuck here and you gotta grab your toes and keep going. And then count them up. Oh, that's 14 total after I counted 7 more, right? Or you gotta put them down and put them back up, right? So what we did was we counted 7 on our hands, right? And then I added on 3 more and then I got full up, yeah? And then I knew I needed 4 more on my next hand, right? Keep going, 4 more. And that allowed me to get to 14. Now this method, 7 and 7, you probably can't do in your head very confidently. I bet if someone asked you'd be a little nervous to answer, unless you have it memorized, right? Anybody freeze up when they're asked to do basic math? Yeah, me, right? You don't want to be wrong. So how can we make this easier? Right? We got to carry a 1 if we're doing it right? Something like that, craziness, nonsense, right? Doing that in your head's impossible. Really, you just got to know that one. But what we do in our hands, we can do in our heads. I know 7 plus 3 makes 10. Why do I like 10s? Because we're in a base 10 system. After you get to 10, the numbers start over, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Completely different names for those numbers, right? And we get 10, which is kind of weird. It's like 1 with a 0, right? It kind of starts over. And then we get 10-1, which is 11, and 10-2, which is 12, and 10-3, which is 13. The first some numbers are kind of weird. But then we get to 20, and it's totally normal to say 21, 22, 23, 10-1, 10-2, 10-3. Just sounds weird. We changed it to 11, 12, 13. We're in a base 10 system. It's because we got 10 fingers on here. We used to actually not be base 10 always. We did base 12 for a long time. Roman numerals, all that stuff, were on base 10 system, but they did numbers in a different way. Every 10, like 10 would be an X, whole different number you got to learn, and then we get to 50, you have to use an L. Whole different number you got to learn. It's not just, 40, 50, 60. Makes more sense in a base 10 system. So I like 10s. They're easy to add with. And I know 7 plus 3 makes 10. You're probably going to have that one memorized eventually to make math a little bit easier. You should know what number makes 10. So if I say 6, what goes with it? 4. If I say 5, if I say 8, exactly. And if you know those, that's all the memorization you have to do. And hopefully you got those naturally from playing around with your fingers. Okay? Memorization should be a natural byproduct of what you do. And now I've got 10 plus 4, right? Well, that's very easy. 14. You might be like, well, okay, sure. But, like, who cares? How about this one? Do that in your head. No way, Jose, right? What's an easier way of adding this in our head? How can we rewrite this like above? There's no wrong answer. How would you do it? Let's try to find the easiest way possible. What? 74 for the answer? How'd you come up with it? The answer I can give you. The question is why? Yeah. Okay, so you're doing 20 and 40 together. Okay, and that gets you 60. She's a former student. Her name's Lily. She's going to college for math and has no life. Hi, Haley. Glad you're here. That's how you do it in your head, 20, 40, 14. Is that how you do it too? So you see 7 and 7, and you're like, this, right? Just to show the idea. And then you're like, okay, that's 14. That's 60. Now, how do you solve a problem like Maria? Whoops. Then what do you do? See how this becomes 60, that becomes 14? Are you guys following what he's saying? People at home, you guys following? Now what do you do when you get here? Just add it up. 10 and 4 is probably what you do, right? So if we were to be writing it out, which is harder to do than just adding it, you've got like this going on, and you're like 70 plus 4, and then that's 74, right? Guaranteed to work. And you can have confidence about it, right? I know 20 and 40 is 60. It's 2 and 4 is 6, right? That's 60. And then that's 10 plus 4, so 74. Are you smelling what I'm stepping in? Okay. Now, why are we allowed to do this? Why does this work? Why can't we just break it up and do whatever we want with it? Because, one, we understand what it means, right? 27 means 20 in 7 ones, right? 47 means 40 in 7 ones. 27 is the same as 20 plus 7, and 47 is the same as 40 plus 7. You can add them in any order you want. There's a special property of addition called the associative property. You don't remember the name. What it says is that if you take two numbers, let's call them A and B, because I could write like 5 and 2 there, but then you might, well, does that only work for 5 and 2? No, child. It works for any number, okay? A number plus another number is the same as a number plus a number plus another number, and you can do it in any order we want. And how do we show order? Well, normally you do left to right, which sometimes can be a pain, right? Adding this left to right is not fun, right? Adding this, once I wrote it, 20 and 40, right? I wrote it so I'd have this left to right, but it would have been 20 plus 7 plus 40 plus 7. That would have been hard too, right? How we show order is parentheses. So you can do A plus B and then add C, or you can do A plus B plus C. That little emphasis there on syllables. You hear what I'm saying? Emphasis on syllables. One of my favorite words to do that with is DVD. You all know what a DVD is? Frickin' millennials. All right. DVD. The emphasis is here and here. DVD. Right? Well, what if you switch it? How would you pronounce that? Well, they're both the same word, but you're putting the emphasis on the V. Make the V stand out. So, like, for instance, if I say the sentence, I always pay my taxes, I can say it like this. I always pay my taxes. I can say, I always pay my taxes. I can say, I always pay my taxes. I always pay my taxes. I always pay my taxes. Emphasis, right? It changes the meaning, doesn't it? DVD is how we say it normally. How would you say it this way? DVD. Do you have the DVD? Mr. Marconi. All right, so you instantly become Italian. A plus B plus C equals A plus B plus C. You know what I'm saying here? Parenthesis A plus B parenthesis plus C equals A plus B parenthesis B plus C parenthesis. Oh my God, no one understands what you're talking about. Shut up. Not even mathematicians. If you want to sound official and not sound Italian, what you can do is you can say the quantity. Ooh. What is a quantity? Quando. Anybody speak Spanish? Italian? Any Romance language? Huh? When? How much, right? How much? Quando. Quantity. It's a number, right? 2 is a quantity, right? How many you want? What quantity? Right, you're checking out on Amazon, right? Quantity, 3 things. You're buying 3 of those. This is a quantity. The quantity of A plus B. What it's saying there is that A plus B is a number. Wait a minute. Hold on. A is a number, B is a number, C is a number. I might have some of you there, right? They're just numbers we don't know. But this is saying, with parentheses, that A plus B is a number. That thing is a number. And that makes sense, because A is 5 and B is 2. What is A plus B? It's 7. A plus B is a number. We just don't know what it is yet. So when we wrap it in parentheses, we're treating that as a number, a quantity. So something plus C equals something plus, or A plus something else. Do you know what's happening? So the quantity of A plus B plus C equals A plus the quantity of B plus C. If you say it like that, I can write that out. Parenthesis A plus B plus parenthesis plus C. No, oh my God. And that's how middle schoolers do it. Not only are their bodies all misshapen and like, you know, they're like out of proportion and they're weird looking and they're going through puberty and like they don't know who they are or what they're gonna do. They've got all these weird emotions inside of them and they don't know how to use deodorant. Right? On top of that, they're trying to say this crap. Don't look at me! Right? Reading aloud in class. Yeah. And you got the one kid that's just like, I'm looking at you. Haha, I used to teach middle. What is wrong with those kids? You guys should be put to sleep for 3 years and then woken up when you get to high school. Some of you guys are still advanced middle schoolers, but most of you are starting to catch on to the whole high school vibe, and I'm enjoying it. So we have the quantity of A plus B plus C equals the quantity, or A plus the quantity of B plus C. Doesn't matter what order we do it in. Addition is associative. It doesn't change how we do it. So when we write something like this, we can write this as, and then we can rearrange it. It's all the same. So if you can rearrange it, do it to make your life easier. The associative property is going to be on the test, and you got to remember what it's called, and it looks like this. I'll teach you a little mnemonic. It's like DVD and DVD, right? We go to Walmart and associatives in Walmart. That's what they're called, and they work there, and it's how may I help you, and I buy DVDs at Walmart, and that's how you're going to remember. Oh my God. Oh my God. Right? Stop. You don't need to know what the associative property is called. What's up, Mac? What you need to know is that you can use it. And you should. Why? Because it'll be on the test. No. But because, child, this is a hard problem. This is an easy problem. And it turns out they're the same. In algebra, we do not get to pick what problems we do, more or less. I mean, you can design your own and all that stuff, right? That's fine. But when you have a problem, you can't just be like, I'll make it easier. It's 1 plus 1. I know that. It's 2. I win. We have the problems that we get, just like life. The question is how we look at them and what we do with them. Don't do it alone. Because a change in perspective is hard to do, but if you meet somebody else that thinks differently than you, then you can work on this and see it in a different way, and it can make all the difference. This, hard. Can you do this problem? Oh yeah, sure, I can do that in my head. 60 plus 14, 74. Maybe you'd have a little bit of trouble with that last one, right? You don't like that. 60 plus, that's 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. 4 left over. 74. Am I going to make you do it this way? No. I'm not gonna be like, here's a worksheet, go home with your parents, now answer this question. And your parents are like, that's 74. You're like, I know, Dad, but I have to show how I know it, and you gotta do all this stuff. I'm like, I don't know how to do it, you just add them up, right? Why can't you just do it this way? Did it. Well, you can, Dad, but that's not how they want us doing it. Well, what's wrong with the old way? I don't understand this society, right? Well, the old way's fine, but good luck doing that in your head. You want to do it on a piece of paper? God bless you, do it. Who cares how you do it? I'm just going to show you different ways. Especially if Sebastian comes up with it. Or someone else in here. So addition is associative. We can move stuff around. It makes problems easier. Eads, give me a problem. Addition. Give me something goofy. $76. Awesome. Great start. We're going to do a plus sign. Kaylee, give me a number. 28. Is that your favorite number? Sebastian, give me a number. 64. We were so close. We were so close. All right. No 420s or 69s. How do you solve a problem like Maria? There's lots of ways to do it. How would you do it? Yeah, how would you go about it? People playing along at home, please do. How would you solve this problem? So this 6 and this 4? Okay, so it's important that we're not adding this to make 10, right? that's 6 10s plus 4 1s, that's 64, right? We would just get 64 if we added those together. We had this 6 and this 4. Okay, we can do that. That makes a 10, that's nice. Now what? What else can we do? $70 and 20, that's 90, right? So 70, notice that 7 stands for 70 and that 2 stands for 20, right? Because it's in the 10 spot. Plus 8. So we've got an 8 on there. And what are we do with that 60? Plus 60 at the end. All right. We're solving it your way. Now what would you do? How would you solve a problem like this? I bet most of you would say, well, this is 10, right? What would you do next? Okay. We can do this. I can play this game. Here we are. Now, how would you solve this problem? You what? Ooh. That's 160, right? And then plus 8. That kind of worked out nicely, didn't it? 168. Thank you, Lily. I'm not concerned about the answer. We're concerned about the method. So in our heads, we could do something like 70 and 20 makes 90. 10 more makes 100. And then we have plus 68, 168. Maybe something like this. Let's move this up a little bit more. 70, 20, 60, get all the 10s together? Yeah, we'll do that next. That's a good idea, Evan. So 70 and 20 and 10. Here I'm getting those from? And then 68. Again, in your head, you don't have to show all your work. So it's often harder to write it down than it is to do it in your head. And that might seem like to your parents and you, like, why are we doing it this way? Well, because we're trying to do it in our head and save time, because, like, nobody wants to do it. And that becomes 100. And that becomes 168. Damn. Associative property. Evan says he's going to do it this way. Oops, I can't fold anymore. Let's try doing the 10s first. See if that's any easier. So he's just going to do this. And maybe it's easier in your brain to just go, okay, 70 plus 20 plus 60, and then we have 6, 8, and 4. This right here, that's 70 plus 20, which is 90. 10 more would make that 100, right? Are you smelling what I'm stepping in there? I borrowed 10 from the 60, or whatever you want to call it, right? Because I can't do 90 plus 60 in my head. Oh my god, I might make a mistake, right? But I can do 100 plus 50, right? It's the same problem, just a different way of looking at it. And then this is 10 plus 8, which is 18. So I have 150 plus 18, which is 168. Ooh, we got another one. 76 and 64. Look at this. Look at this. She's saying we can do 76 and 64 together. Why do you think she's saying 76 and 64 make sense to go together? What do you notice about these two numbers? These two right here. What might make them easy to put together? I think you know what makes them hard, 70 and 60, right? What makes them easy to put together? No idea? Not sure what she's thinking? Let me draw you something. 76, I don't have time to draw 70 dots out, but like here's 70. Let's do 76 dots like that. Is this gonna work like I wanted it to? No, it's not, because I'm in base. I'm in a different base. So let's do, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's 70-ish, right? That's how wide it is. And then here's 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, there's 76-ish. It's not exact. And here's 64. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. And then 60-something, right? You see how these fit together? I didn't scribble down all the way. You see how the 6 and the 4 fit together really nicely? Right, and you know that, because 6, if I say 6, you say 4, right? I say 4, you say 6. So she noticed that the 6 and the 4 here go together. And the 70 and the 60 is all we really need to add, and then we add on 10, right? How do you do 70 plus 60 in your head? What's a better way to break down 70 and 60? Let's play the game where if I say a number, you tell me what adds to make it 100. 70. Ooh. So how can we think of this as 70 plus 30? Ooh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. We're gonna look at that again. But do you see what we're saying here? I can't do 70 and 60 in my head very easily, but I can do 70 and 30, right? Can you do 70 and 30? And then you add 30 more? Easy, 130. And then we get 38, 168. You said you would do this. I know what 60 and 60 is. What's that? What's 60 and 60? So in my head, that must be 130. That's how I do 7 and 6 when I add them up. I know 6 plus 6, it's 12. I have to do that all the time, right? 7 plus 6, oh, it's just one more, 13. 7 plus 6 is 13, 6 plus 4 is 10. All right, let's see. Last one, you guys calm down, you bunch of nerds. 7 and 6 is 13, so that's 130. What you're saying here and here. And then you're saying 6 and 4 is 10, so 10 more. That makes 140. And now we just have 28, right? Dang. I'll admit 7 plus 6 is hard. I have to think 6 plus 6 and then add one more. That's how I usually do it. So that's 130. And then 10 more is 140. Then 28 more is 168. 3 random numbers. I didn't even put a restriction. You guys could have done 3 digits. Find connection. There's lots of ways to do it. If you want to write about this in your portfolio, go for it. Make up a math problem. Show different ways to do it. If you want to show doing it to carry the one way, great. Do that. Association. Addition is associative. Let's talk more about addition. I think it's pretty obvious that we're allowed to do this. right? Doesn't matter what order we do them in. It's the same thing as association. It just literally changed them around. We've been doing that the whole time, right? We call this the commutative property. Is subtraction commutative? Think about it. Make an example in your head. Actually, let's do it together. Sebastian, give me a number for A. Oh my gosh. Okay. Has to be the same on both sides, right? We talked about that last week. Otherwise, it's not a very interesting problem. Give me a number for B, Eads. Is that your favorite number? Not an MJ fan? Kaylee, C. Oh my god. I'm letting you make up your own problems, and you're making hard problems. Aren't you guys supposed to hate math and be like, 1 + 1, 2. Good job today, guys. See you later. What a bunch of nerds. 50 minus 23 minus 104. How are we going to do that in our heads? Well, I know 50 minus 25. What's that? 25. The only thing funny than 24. My soundboard's not hooked up. Sorry. So what's 50 minus 23 then? Yeah, it takes away 2 less. So instead of 25, you're going to have 27, right? One way of doing it. You could also do 50 minus 20, right? That's 30. Subtract 3 more. 27, yeah? Now we subtract 104. How are we going to do that? I bet you know 7 minus 4. That's 3. 7 minus 4. 20 minus 100. Can't we do 20 minus 20, then minus 80? Right, that's 0, and then we get negative 80, right? We have negative 80. 7 minus 4 is 3. Kind of weird. Right? We got a positive number, 7 minus 4. We can subtract this. Let's do negative 3, positive 3, and then what's left over? Negative 77, it looks like. Right? Because negative 77 and negative 3 makes negative 80. I don't know. We're getting weird here. You guys came up with weird numbers. It works. So we get negative 77, okay? Now let's do this side. 104 minus 50. Can you do that? I bet you know 100 minus 50. 50. So what's 104 minus 50? 54. She said confidently. Because it's not hard when you think about it this way, right? 54 minus 23. This is your dad's method, right? You just do it. 50 minus 20. 4 minus 3. Uh-oh. Looks like subtraction isn't commutative. It doesn't work. Right? 104 is not the same thing as negative 104, is it? You see how moving it changed the problem? It changed the problem. You can check that. You don't need to know and memorize subtraction is not commutative. What? You get a problem like this and you can go, well, that's not true. Because now we have positive C and we have negative C over here. It's not the same problem. There's a positive A over here and a negative A over there. There's a negative B on both sides. That's fair. Right? Think. Addition is commutative and associative. Move it around as much as you want. Subtraction, order matters, baby. If you want, make your own problems and talk about this. Show why subtraction doesn't work like addition. Or maybe come up with a case where it does work, right? Maybe there's some special numbers you can get that do work. Can anybody think of a number that would work for A, B, and C that this would be true? If I'm asking the question, there's usually an interesting solution. So random numbers is probably not what you want to try. What numbers? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 works. Well done. Write about it if you want. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Not in person, though. Love you, miss you, bye. 1 would also work. 1 minus 1 minus 1. That's negative 2. 1 minus 1 minus 1. Yep. Exactly. 2 minus 2 minus 2. 2 minus 2 minus 2. That would work, wouldn't it? If all the numbers are the same, it doesn't matter. Because we have something minus the same thing minus the same thing. Something minus the same thing minus the same thing. But it's not always commutative, right? Only in a special case. Don't memorize the exceptions, learn the rules. Right? Not because they were told to you by an authority, but because math makes more sense when you understand what works and what doesn't. Makes your job a lot easier, right? You wouldn't start moving those around. What's up? I'm gonna turn off the camera now. Bye, I love you. Take care.